Hello and welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that bit of footage. We'll just stop that princess there. We'll open up the points and get that onto the turntable, not because we're going to turn it around at the moment, but because I just want to get it out of the way so we can do a few other things. This is the princess that somebody very kindly sent me, and we sort of got it cleaned up and back into sort of nice running condition. Let's get that up there onto the turntable. There we go, that should be nice and safe there. And then we'll just close that into the points there. So that should be all isolated there now. So I've got a number of catalogues out here. We'll have a glance at those in a moment. But the hopper wagons that I keep saying I've lost. So those are the three which I showed last week, which came from Dave Angel's stall at the TCS show. We saw those last week. But when I was searching for this, the refreshment kiosk, whose number I can't remember now. Hang on a second. Let's just see if I can grab this box. So we've got the box for it here. So the box has seen better days. Bit of blue paint on it, refreshment kiosk. I still can't read the number on that. Let's have a look at the other end. Is it 147? I can't quite read that because of the blue paint on the box. Anyway, the box that was in, the two wagons were stuffed in. So let's just grab those. I've got these sitting down here. Let's grab hold of those. Now, I've been on the lookout for these in boxes for ages. Couldn't remember where I'd put them. And this, again, a model I've been looking for a while. I did get this at the TCS show, but I decided not to include it in last week's video. So, because I'm going to get it in this video. So there it is sitting on the railway. So I've got a couple of other versions of that, which we've seen in the past. I've got a blue one. And I've got another two-tone green one where the vents are painted in sort of quite harsh silver from the early 70s with the wonderful early Ringfield motor in it. So I'll leave a link to the video with those on. But yeah, this one is from about 1980, I think. So R.328, but we'll have a look over that in a moment. So let's just pop the box down there. And these are the ones which have been missing. Now that's got a replacement piece of cellophane in the front of it there. And there's nothing printed on the end of the box, that side. And then we've got 214 hopper wagon there. And then we've got another one there. This one looks to have original cellophane on it again. Not much printed on the box at that side. Possibly a price has been scribbled in there, but I think it's long gone. And that's got a slightly different end to the box, doesn't it? Let's just have a look at the end of the other box. Yeah, so this has got 214 on a printed label on that side, and possibly that price there, but that's got a white sort of information panel there, but this box doesn't have the information panel. So, yeah, different packaging, and we saw those boxes last week, so we'll not have a look over those. When I was showing those things last week, I was talking about a picture that I'd remembered because I'd got some Esso tank wagons. These aren't the wagons I'd remembered, but this is the image I think I remember of a number of tank wagons across the bottom of a page. Now, this is the 75 catalogue, and you've got all of those along there, and then we've got a northeastern brake van, and then we've got some coke wagons there, what looks like a B12 in apple green there. So I think that's the image I was thinking of, but not quite the wagons, because these are an earlier style wagon. If we have a look at those, these aren't quite the wagons. Where are the wagons? I've got a box somewhere. Hang on, let me just tuck the box down there. So these are a slightly later wagon. So let's grab this catalogue here. So this is the 76 catalogue. I know we've got an IVAT with one of those wagons. There's Esso tank wagons there. So let's do. Ooh, there is that Class 47 with the vents painted up in bright silver. Let's just go to the wagons. Here we go. There we go. So we've got that's the tank wagon we've got in the box here. Although it has been renumbered, I think. Possibly gaining a paint finish. So this one is R713, so tank wagon. So this is definitely sort of 1980s box. But let's leave those there for now. And I think possibly we'll get an IVAT out and we'll get those those tank wagons on the railway, perhaps next week. So I'll get those out of the boxes, and we'll get them all hooked up with this Class 47. There's those two wagons from the boxes we were just looking at. They're a great deal brighter than the other three I had on the railway, so they've had a bit more of a sheltered life. They do have some bits of sellotape just in the bottom to seal up the holes, so maybe somebody's had a load in these at some point, but we'll get that lot running in a moment. I did finish off the rake with the brake van on the end there, R.636. It's 1967-ish, into the early 70s of that number. And these sort of yellow inserts for the boxes, they've got some numbers of the other models which could be sort of contained with this sort of vac form bit of packaging. They're quite delicate. So very, very thin plastic, just to encase the model and keep it within the cardboard pack. I suppose let's just put that out of the way so we don't get tangled up with that later on. And what else? The model itself, the locomotive, in Class 47. So we've had a number of these on the railway, I think I said before. But this one's named Mammoth and came along in 1979. And I think this one's from 80. If you look at the box, it's sort of a 1980s style box, and I believe the model number, I don't know what that number is on the end there, but I believe this model number is R.328 BR Class 47 diesel, named Mammoth there. So originally when it showed up in 79 it was R.073, so I'm just turning around looking at my notes, and possibly not an all over paint finish. I believe this one may be a completely paint finish. All of the colours we see here are spray painted onto the locomotive. It does have the illuminated head codes, although you have to run it quite quickly to get it to show up. I think there is a driver in one end. I can't remember which end the driver's in now, but we'll have a look at that a little bit later on. So let me change some points, and we'll give this one a bit of a run, see what it sounds like without anything behind it. So I just need to get this point here where we go. We want to go straight with that one, out the sink there. So I have had a couple of derailments with this. Not really, I don't think it's a back-to-back problem, it's the floating wheel. There are some floating wheels on the motor bogie which sort of wobble around, and the wheel set in the centre of the dummy bogie has got a huge amount of play in it, so it does sort of wobble quite nicely. You can sort of hear it clattering on the rails there. Let's just give that a little run around. See if I can retain focus on that. And then I think we'll just go over the diamond. It doesn't like that very much. Very, very clattery. Now I can't remember which way I've got the points set here, so I'm just stopping to have a look. Oh no, we're good there and good there, so that'll come back around there. So let's go for more power. So I'm going to have to stop here and change some points ahead of me. So it's quite controllable. So let's just have a quick look over there. So I think what we'll do, we'll whip these off the rails and have a look at them in a moment. Let's change this point now. So we want to go curved on this one. So we'll run that through there. And then we'll change that back again. Wrong direction. And see if these couplings will hook up with the wagons. So these are sort of plastic couplings, or the ring on them is plastic, the D shape. Didn't realise how close they were then, so I suddenly had to take off quite a lot of power. So let's give that a go. Yeah, you can hear those wheels sort of clattering on the rails. I'm just going to close those points before we get too carried away. So we want to go curved with that one. Actually, I'm going to just change some more points. We'll just restrict that to the inner line for the moment, and then we'll see if we can get some interesting shots of it running round. So we'll make that one straight, and we've got to swing around here, and my pad is lying on the rails there, so we'll take that off. Place is full of hazards, so we want that one curved. So handily, we'll come right back to the controller. So let's catch up with that now and dial in a tiny amount of power. Let's have a look at those wagons as they go past. So if I put the controls down as we pass the bit of sticky Velcro coming around here, let's see if I can get a slightly more interesting shot of this as we come around the railway. Got all the wagons in front of us now. Ooh, just heard the drive gear on the inside of the model there. So the dummy bogie has got that off-centre pivot like they began to use in the 70s. I can't work out what advantage that off-centre pivot was. Whether it's got something to do with the pull on the motor and it sort of the twist down the model. Could be overthinking that, of course. Yeah, you hear it as it comes into that curve there. That's looking pretty good. So I was quite pleased to finally find those. It had been annoying me that I couldn't come up with where to put those for quite some time, but that's the case with quite a number of items. Let's just stop that there and see if we can set a different route for it now. As we saw, I've got that Princess to bring down those coaches from the elevated track there. We will pick that up later, but let's see if we can have a bit of a run on this outer line and see how it does. So we want to change this crossover here, so we want to go curved there. Let's swing around here, and the point hiding behind the wagons there, we definitely want to go curved here. Whoops, wrong direction. Don't know what I was doing then. I'm sure I was on the right switch, but perhaps I wasn't, because it wasn't moving. The noise wasn't coming from the right place. I forgot one thing. I was going to go crashing into this utility van if I don't switch some points on this side. Again, this is just playing with trains. Now, if you didn't have to think about where you were looking all the time. There we go. And sorry, I've got my hand on the wrong switch. That one and that one. And I did that one incorrectly, which is sitting at this end here. So I want that one back to curved. Excuse the loss of train of thought there. So we'll grab this. And we'll dial in a little power now. So that's just, what is that? Before the halfway? It's not halfway. It's the sort of quarter point. So you're getting a little bit of creep on there. That curve is just taking it out of it. I think it needs a little bit more power to go over that diamond crossing. Again, you can hear the cogs on the inside of the motor there. And we have got something has jumped the rails here. So I think one of these wagons has just jumped off. Let's have a look here. We've got it caught up with a buffer. I've got all those untangled now, so I'm not quite sure where the problem started with that lot, but there we go. So let's just give that another go for good measure. So we'll just back that back out and we'll give it another try. So the hook's got all sort of tangled up with the buffers. wasn't the problem I was anticipating. That's the locomotive jumping off on the points is what I was thinking might be the problem. And then listen out for the cog on the, there we go. We've got that all the way onto the inside. Let's just take it into the station there. We'll bring that to a stop and we'll tidy up some point work behind us. And then we'll have a little bit of a run on this outer line. So let's leave everything neat and tidy back here. So we want to go straight with that one. And then let's whiz back around here. We want to go straight with this one. I think that's everything I've got to tidy up. I think we're all good at that stage. You never know. I've probably forgotten something. So let's give this some little bit of power. See if we can just get some interesting views of it as it runs through the railway. I don't think we'll get it fast enough for the head code to light up, but you never know. Let's just give that another once around. I'm just going to put down the controls for a second so we can perhaps get in a little bit more interesting shot here. See those nice yellow bits of sellotape in the wagons there? Just going to lose it into the tunnel. And just step back. All very well behaved. So I think if we grab the controls, what we'll do, we'll get these wagons put away into a siding, and we'll see if we can get those coaches. Dare we back through those points, do you think? What do you think? So let's see if we can do that. Let's go curved with that one. Oops. I'm just going to do one behind me so we can come through. Actually, no, we're not going to go to the one behind me. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring it around and put them next to this station. So let's see if we can back through here. We'll stand back a little bit. Tiny hesitation on one of those points. It's got diagonal pickup. So one set of wheels picks up on that side and the other on that side. So it's difficult to know which big, large lump of plastic it's losing power on there. So let's switch that one straight, and then we want this one. We want to go straight there, and then we'll put it into the siding here. So we'll go curved there. Let's see how we do with that, and then we'll have to use the hand decoupler to undo these. So. There we go. So I haven't really left myself in a brilliant place to do this. Let's see what we can do there. There we go. We've got those. I should have used the other one I've got as a better angle if I'd thought about it more. So let's send that forward. And we'll tidy up that point there, and what we'll do is we'll open this one here wrong one. I'm looking at the points and reaching for the switches, so we'll go that one. So yeah, we could just run these round in circles and circles and not play with the points, make the video shorter. So it's one way of doing it. So let's go back through there. And we'll get this one. And at some point we should just have a quick look over these items before we forget about it. So let's curve there and curve there. Let's see how we're going to look here. Oh, there's the new signal box there. I'd forgotten about that. I think I've forgotten to put that uncoupling ramp down, have I? Yeah, let's put that down. So we've got a utility van here. And we've got a coach, nice blood and custard restaurant there, and we've got the brake on the end. So these have been lying on the railway for a long time. They're Mark II couplings. The utility van has got a Mark III on one end and a Mark II on the other. So let's see if we're all hooked up there. So just the 2 traction tyres on this model. I think the early one I have has 6. So considerable pull-in power, but it doesn't seem to be struggling with this at all. Let's just bring that to a gentle stop there. There we go. And we'll get a slightly different view of this coming this direction. We'll drop that down there. I should run back into the station. But I think we'll just have a quick look over this locomotive and those hopper wagons. That's how the model looked on the page in the catalogue in 1980. Terrific catalogue, we've seen over that before, but we'll just have a look at the end of the box here again. So I think most models got an all-over paint finish at that time, so we'll just have a swift look across there again. And then we've got that information here, authentic 00 scale model, BR class 47, Cocoa diesel, Mammoth, with illuminated head codes. So we will try and get those head codes lit up, and I'm not sure what that number relates to. So not a great deal on the back of this box. So we'll have a look at the model. Let's just pop that box to one side. So as I say, it did show up in 79 as R.073 and then changed to that model number for 1980 for this. So it is quite a lovely bit of moulding. And if you've seen the earlier video of the early green variant, you see the wiring is a bit of a trial on the inside. This is simplified to some degree. If you have a look at the insert pictures there, you can see how the bogie and the wiring all attaches, and you can possibly just see that sort of off-centre pivot. So if we have a look here, you've got this sort of floating bogie there, and it's sort of, I don't know why they chose to go with the off-centre, although it seems to work rather well on this particular model. So I was saying earlier, it's a diagonal pickup, so you pick up on this side on this bogie, and this side on this bogie. Whereas I think my first version of this, is it 6 traction tyres or is it just 4? I can't remember now. I have an idea it might be 6, but I'll put a note at the bottom of the screen there if it's different. It's nagging me now that the front 2 wheels may be pickups and that you might just have traction tyres on the 4. I know there are several different variants of this model, and then one of them, the underframe chassis, is all entirely metal. And if we have a look over that, the paint finish is rather nice on here. Let's see if we can find the driver. So driver's not in that end. Let's have a look at that end. So I'm not sure whether the driver's an original feature or whether somebody's added that later, but there it is. Driver sitting in there, and you can see I mentioned that the couplings are plastic. So you've got that plastic D shape there, but you've got the metal hook there. And let's just have a look at the motor. Sorry, we'll turn that around. We'll look at the motor end a little bit more closely, so we can see those traction tyres. So these are replacements. I put on the originals. Were very hard and they were spinning on the wheels. They did sort of just crack in half when I took them off. They were just really, really brittle. So it has benefited from a new set of traction tyres. I think these are definitely sort of wire-fitted handrails there. So that early model had these sort of vents picked out in bright silver, which looked a little bit crude. But I mean, they are toy trains. We have to remember this. These aren't really. I don't think they'd really got to the point of scale models. So, hopper wagon here, R.214. If you look at the insert picture there, you can see the earlier model of R.214. I think we had some of those out on the railway a little while ago, perhaps with the 9F. But also this would have made the whiskey wagon as well with the top on it and all. I think is there a version of the grain wagon, or the original wagon had a top on it as well? Could have been made into a grain wagon. And then the all wagon without it obviously at some point had an operating door on those. I'll leave on those earlier wagons, so I'll leave a link to that. So we've got a nice bit of graphics on there on the black panel. So we've got 35 tons B 35000. There's a number there. You can see that yellow sellotape we were talking about. So maybe somebody has put some sort of a load in there, but fairly nice condition. So not too much rust on the axles. So as I said, it'd take me quite a while to find these. So we'll get the locomotive back on the rails and see if we can make that head code light up. Dates on these. So this large hopper wagon, 69 to 72. So relatively short period in the catalogue. We should just have a look over the brake van whilst we're here. So this one was R.636, and these came along in 1967 when it replaced the long-running R.16 brake van. Quite nice-looking things. I think these went into the 70s and possibly changed the running number. Somebody has just mentioned to me, asked a question about that little tab underneath there, and I have to admit I'm not entirely sure what that's intended for. So I put it on the rolling road because you can see in that insert footage there it's quite comical trying to chase it round to get it to show up. If I turn it the other way we'll get no light this end. So if we run round to the other end, let's see if we can see this one lighting up there. You can see the cab detail glowing as well. I'll give that a little bit more power. So I've just got that hooked up there, just taking power off the sort of fly leads there off the rails. So I thought that was the better way of doing it. But if we look back next time, we'll try and get those SO tank wagons out and the IVAT, I think. But thanks again. Goodbye now.